Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another Ask Ian Q&A on Forgotten Weapons. I'm Ian, and today's question is Elbonian themed, so I broke out the Elbonia hoodie. This comes from John on Patreon, who says, Elbonia has been occupied by an enemy force. Do you sabotage their resistance by airdropping them Liberator pistols or Cobray Terminator shotguns? That's a good question, and you're clearly quite the sadist, John. Those are both really pretty awful guns. So if you're not familiar with Elbonia, it's a theme that started off here and became a running thing on both Forgotten Weapons and a couple other channels, which is really cool. And the core concept is, how can you present something as very good that is actually very bad? So it can be a lot to this sort of question. It's not just a goofy what if. So when it comes to resistance forces, the two guns that we're considering here would be the Liberator, which is a single-shot compact pistol, and the Terminator, which is a single-shot largish shotgun. That, by the way, is an example for later in this discussion. That's not a Terminator. Both of these guns are actually, well, the Liberator is pretty reliable. It's totally reliable, frankly. I've never actually had a Liberator misfire on me. They're just awful to shoot. The Terminator is, in my experience, unreliable, but it might not be as bad as people are led to believe. So I filmed the video on the Terminator quite a while back, and when I did, I was using a camera that really limited the sound of gunshots. Now, the Terminator is an open bolt single shot, so when you pull the trigger, the bolt's going to slam forward, chamber the round, and fire it. But it makes a big noise just closing the bolt, like you would get from dropping the bolt on any other large firearm. And the difference in sound between the bolt slamming and then failing to fire and the gun actually firing in that video of mine is pretty hard to discern. So I think there may be some people out there that think that the thing literally never fired. It did. It, as I recall, it ran about half of the time, maybe 2/3 of the time. So I want to make sure that's a bit clear. The Terminator was unreliable, but not 100% so. So when it comes to these guns for a resistance organization, guerrillas in the forest, I think the pistol is the substantially more effective firearm because largely it's concealable. So, well, it's concealable and it's a pistol cartridge. The problem with a shotgun is most of the time in this sort of situation, your guys are probably going to end up with Birdshot to use in it because that's the most commonly available type of shotgun ammunition, and Birdshot's not particularly effective as an anti-personnel thing. Talk to the guy that Rumsfeld shot in the face with a load of Birdshot who came away from it okay. Lots of people get shot with Birdshot, by the way, go to the hospital, spend a while getting Birdshot picked out of them, and then walk away just fine. So if I were in a resistance organization, I would rather have the pistol. It's going to be, generally speaking, with the available ammo, more powerful, and it's also something that I can easily conceal, which means you can use it for its original purpose, which is basically sneak up on the enemy soldier, shoot them, and take their proper real gun. Now, when it comes to the question of specifically sabotaging Elbonia, there's a second reason that I would go for the pistol, and that's because it's a lot easier to make a shotgun than it is to make something like a Liberator. And that's why I have this guy here. This is my Richardson Gorilla Gun, which was literally made as a commercial copy to sell of a tube slam fire shotgun developed and manufactured in the Philippines by a US Navy lieutenant who spent 2 years fighting with the Philippine guerrillas. So, I mean, this thing is just a barrel, like a piece of pipe that happens to be shotgun 12 gauge size, and a slightly larger piece of pipe that holds it, and you just put a shell there, slam them together, and it fires. The Elbonian resistance can build this. So if I send them Terminators, I'm sending them something that's pretty terrible and is also not really any better than something they can build themselves. If I were to send them Liberator pistols, I'd be giving them a capability that they're going to have a harder time creating for themselves. So, John, that is my answer to the question. I would keep the Liberator for myself, and I would sabotage the Elbonian resistance by dropping them crate load upon crate load of Cobray Terminators. Hopefully that was a fun one. we have some other Elbonia videos in the backlog, answers to Q&A questions. So I'll link to those down in the description text below if you want to dig them out. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to have your own question answered in video format like this, head on over to Utreon or Patreon, sign up to help support Forgotten Weapons, and I have threads running on both of those platforms each month, soliciting Q&A questions for videos like this. Thanks for watching.